he said that he's not going to be forced to father an unwanted child.
Okay, well, I'm pretty sure you wouldn't be here in court asking for default if you didn't have the proper
Yeah.
documentation. However, as a court, I'm in the last place, the gatekeeper here, so I have to look at it myself, and I will, and I'll take judicial notice of that. However, if they call you back because there's a problem, it's only to your benefit, Ms. Lewis. I want to make sure we cross all our T's and dot all our I's so that this holds up, that there's no problems that we overlooked. And I don't.
Okay, understandable.
Okay, so we'll proceed with the hearing. Ms. Nichols, did you have anything in the way of the substance, an opening statement on the substance of the case?
Yes, we will be using Ms. Tejas' testimony to establish child support and for retroactive child support. The child is on private health and dental insurance, and the state and the mother, we are seeking retroactive medical and dental support, which is unique. We don't always do that, but we will be. And appropriate orders with regard to conservatorship and possession.
Okay, then you can call witnesses.
Ms. Tejas,
Yes,
will you state your name for the record?
Laura Telles,
Where do you work?
for the Office of the Attorney General,
What is your position?
Child Support Officer,
How long have you been a child support officer?
9 years.
And in your work as a child support officer, is it common for you to come across wages for non-custodial parents?
Yes, it is.
Have you come across wages like that in this case?
Yes, I have.
Was there consistent wage reporting for the entire year of 2024?
Yes,
Were each quarter, was it about the same amount for each quarter? The wage reporting.
yes,
So it was consistent across each quarter. It wasn't one quarter, it wasn't super high, and the next it was a lot lower. It wasn't like that.
no,
Was he with the same company for all of 2024?
that's correct. Yes,
Is there any wage reporting for 2025?
none.
Why might that be?
It probably has not uploaded yet.
Okay. So it's possible that he's still with the same company, still making the same amount of money in 2025. The only reason we don't have it, we can't see it yet, is maybe because it has not yet been
Reported.
updated to the system. Okay, great. And what was the total yearly amount that Mr. Cyrus made in the year of 2024?
Pull it out. For 2024, the annual is $93,306.71.
And what is that per month?
$7,775.56.
Thank you. No further questions for this witness.
Okay, technically, Ms. Lewis, you're here representing yourself. You're acting as your own representative. You have the right of cross-examination of any witnesses. So do you have any questions on the issue of wages of Ms. Diaz before I release her?
No, not at the time. No.
Just for my information, can you tell from the name of the company what type of work that he might be doing there, or what kind of company it is?
No. Oh, sorry.
Oh, I'm talking to Ms. Diaz. My turn to ask her question.
I know the name of the company. I don't know. It's like a brand.
Okay.
Mhm.
And you think that well, I guess my experience that the first quarter of 2025, January through March, it's not even reported in April. It's like the 1st of May before you actually start getting feedback from the employers. Is that right?
That's correct.
So chances are good he's still working there, although nobody really knows, but he did work there recently, which is all last year.
Mhm.
You're telling me. Is there any prior stuff before 2024?
There was a let me look really
Well,
quick.
let me ask Ms. Nichols, if you're asking for retroactive, if there's any prior wages, maybe I need you to go into that for me.
The child was born in December 2023, so we're only asking for retro beginning
Oh.
beginning January 2024.
Well, that would answer that question. Thank you. But just for my sake, did he have the same job in any prior years? Or was this different employers?
So it looks like the last quarter of 2023, it looks like the reported amount was about, I would say about half of the amounts reported in 2024.
And that would be with the same employer, so maybe you just started?
Correct.
Okay,
Correct.
then I don't need those numbers. Okay, then is there any further examination of Ms. Diaz, Ms. Nichols, by the state?
No.
Then thank you, Ms. Diaz. Thank you for your cooperation and participation, and you got other things to do. I'll let you go.
Thanks.
Thank you. Hold on a minute, Ms. Nichols. We've got some other business to take care of.
Okay.
Hello,
Yes, sir. What was your name again?
Benjamin Guerrero. I was trying to join back to my meeting.
Yes, sir. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna go ahead and rename you. And then you're gonna see that pop up
Yep.
appear on your screen. If you can just hit join. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Alvarez. As you can see, Ms. Lewis, I only have one courtroom and things have to happen through here, so I hope not to interrupt again, but I don't know. It might happen. Ms. Nichols, you may continue.
Ms. Lewis, will you please state your name for the record?
Yes, my name is Emmanuel Yoleen Lewis.
What is your child's name?
Soleil Anna Lewis.
How old is she?
She is 16 months. Well, we'll be 16 months tomorrow.
And what is her birthday?
December 25th, 2023.
Who is her father?
Her father is Tyreek Anthony Cyrus.
How do you know that he is her father?
I was not seeing anyone before conception or after.
Is it possible that any other person could be the father of Soleil?
No.
Does Mr. Cyrus accept that he is the father of Soleil?
He does not want to presume responsibility. I don't know.
But does he acknowledge that he is her biological father?
Yes.
What kind of things has he said to indicate that he knows he is the father of this child?
That's
Even
where
if
it goes.
bad things, even if it's bad things.
Right. So he said that he's not going to be forced to father an unwanted child.
Anything else that indicates he knows Soleil is his biological child?
I don't recall at the moment, no.
Okay. Has Mr. Cyrus, is he involved in any of the decision making for Soleil?
No.
Does he ever try to reach out to you to visit Soleil?
No.
Does he ask about any of her needs or doctor's appointments?
No.
When was the last time he saw Soleil?
He's never seen her.
He's never tried to visit?
No.
What kind of visits are you comfortable, if he chooses to exercise them, what kind of visits are you comfortable with Mr. Cyrus having?
Ms. Nichols, this is going to take a minute or so. We've got somebody in the waiting room that I think needs to be
Okay.
Ms. Alvarez.
Okay.
Okay. Ms. Nichols, where were we? Oh, the 12 to 2 p.m.
12 to 2 p.m. Every other Sunday?
Yes, that's fine.
Where
We're
would you like the
We're going to call it first, third, and fifth Sundays just so you don't have to worry about.
Yeah.
Keep you track of the other way.
first, third, and fifth Sunday? Where would you like these visits to take place?
It
Is it the oh, go ahead.
we could meet at a park if the weather permits. um, at a local park to here. Do I
Do you
have
know
to
what
name
that,
a specific?
do you know what that park is called?
Yes, it's Brushy Creek Lane. Brushy Creek Lake. So sorry.
Brushy Creek Lake Park?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, is that in Cedar Park?
Yes, ma'am.
What county do you live in?
I live in Williamson County.
Do you have any plans to move outside of Williamson County?
No, ma'am.
So let me ask you, why aren't you, for example, why aren't you comfortable with Mr. Cyrus having visits at your house?
Um, um, I don't I don't really know all the way. I just think that maybe in a outside or public place it could be more active, more interaction. Um
Do
that
you have any safety concerns if Mr. Cyrus knows where you live?
um not immediate, not at the moment. So
Okay,
we could be open. I am open to at home visits as well.
okay. Do you have any reasons, like any concerns for your well-being or your daughter's well-being if Mr. Cyrus knew your home address, your phone number, your email address, for example?
Um el- it's kind sorry, I know I have to say like yes or no.
Well,
Um
you can say maybe, and you could just explain to the court your concerns. You don't have to necessarily give a yes or no.
okay, so at one point I definitely did have a concern with him knowing just because of a fear of retaliation. Um so it's still kind of like a maybe.
Why are you afraid he might retaliate against you?
Um Possibly because of how he didn't, like he said, he didn't want to be forced into taking care, and he didn't want me to contact anyone. He said something on the lines of contacting someone would be a bad idea or wouldn't be a good idea.
Contacting someone, contacting who?
Someone in his family or anyone that he knows.
So he's saying it wouldn't be a good idea if you tried to tell one of his family members that he has a child.
Yes.
Okay. Has he ever said anything else to you that could you feel like is potentially threatening?
No, it was just that.
Does he have a history of harassing people, even if it's not you?
Not to my knowledge, no.
Okay. So maybe visits can happen at Brushy Creek Lake Park, but uh when the weather's good.
Yes.
Okay.
Just so that you're aware, Ms. Lewis, we have to put something specific so you'll know where to go to exercise visits if he chooses to do that. However, yeah, I recognize that parks might be sketchy over the winter, but is there a place that maybe would could be both summer and winter, at least to start off with, and then you could go to a park? Anything like
Um,
that?
I
Or,
think
or does the park have a place where maybe you can meet and be protected from the elements? Because it might rain even if it's not winter.
is it the Austin Public Library? Would that be fine, or do we have to?
I would only tell you that Austin Public Library is like downtown Austin with a lot of traffic even on weekends and parking problems. So just from a native Austinite. So I'm thinking you want to meet somewhere. Well, you're in Williamson County. Were you ever in Hayes County when this case was filed? Yeah.
Yes, I was. That was my first and only apartment.
And then what county does he live in? Do you know?
Um, I know it was in Pflugerville, but I'm not very knowledgeable of like everything. So that's why I don't really know a lot of places, other places. I've only known where I've been myself with her.
Well, I'm gonna ask Ms. Nichols not for any specific addresses because you can't divulge them, and I am aware of that, and I don't want you to divulge them on live stream. However, do you have any idea what part of the Central Texas he lives, where maybe we can look at a place in between Miss Lewis? If it's not gonna
I
be,
mean, Ms. Lewis testified he lives in Pflugerville.
you think that's still the case, Miss Lewis?
Yes,
Then you probably don't want both of you going to downtown Austin if you're both north of Austin. Uh,
correct.
for a nice library somewhere else in your part of town or in your county, or you know, as silly as it is, I've said McDonald's so many times over the years that they don't have playgrounds anymore, but you can start there or some other public place like that.
A
I don't mind the park, except yeah, you're right. You're gonna be in a outdoors probably, and it might not be suitable for year round.
yeah, McDonald's is fine.
To at least start there,
Yes.
or have a burger or go somewhere else.
Yes.
Now, I don't know how many McDonald's or which one's close to you or which one you would want to pick between Pflugerville and,
There's one on 10525 West Palmer Lane.
okay. And that's the one you'd want to have exchanges at.
Yes.
Now, what we put in the order is, you know, like usually a starting point, but the order for visitation does say that if you can agree to something else, you know, as a child gets older or things change, if y'all move and there's a better location at that point, if he's actually visiting, y'all can tweak that part of it or the days or the times or whatever is workable and you can agree to, you can do. But failing mutual agreement, then this is what he's at minimum entitled to. So that's
Okay.
trying to do, make it specific, so you're aware of what your obligations are, and he's aware of what his visitation is, unless y'all talk and change it on your own, and that's allowed. But I also caution people, if you're gonna change it, it's nothing like the order looks like. Write it down, make him sign it, because if he says one thing and you say another, and he's telling the police, oh, she gave me permission to have the kid for the whole weekend, and that's not true. You know, it's kind of hard if you have nothing to prove it with.
Okay.
You may not get involved. So just be forewarned on that.
Okay.
So I don't know if Ms. Nichols is well, I assume in these kinds of cases, because he's not here and you don't want to go to McDonald's every other, what did we say, every other Sunday, did you say?
Sunday. Mhm.
Then maybe we should require him to give you advance notice so you don't go sit there and wait for him. He didn't show up, and as the child gets older and realizes it, might be disappointed. So you don't even go unless he calls to confirm the visit. Are you okay with that?
Yes.
Because it doesn't sound like he's not visited at all the entire year.
No.
Child's no. Okay. So how would you want that advance notice? 24 hours, 48 hours ahead of time, or what?
Uh,
Or
I
more
would
than
say
that?
48 hours ahead.
And then do you want it by a text to your cell number, or do you want it some other fashion?
Yes, a text message is fine.
Okay. And if you change your number, you gotta provide it to him, or, well, I haven't gotten there yet, but maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. So Ms. Nichols, on the visitation, did you talk about anything other than this initial part,
Um,
Louis?
no, this is really all we discussed, considering, he's not been involved. Ms. Lewis testifies that he doesn't want to be forced to be a father of an unwanted child, so we really just talked about unsupervised visits every other Sunday.
Yeah, a lot of times what I do is step up visits where it starts limited, and if he gets involved in that, it does it so many times, it can go to another stage and another stage, and maybe finally at the third or fourth stages go to standard visitation. I'm not sure that's necessarily what we should do in your case, since he's already told you how he feels about it. But people sometimes do change, and hopefully he might or will. And if we just leave it at this, then at a minimum, that's what he's entitled to. But at any point in time, he wants to be a father, and you haven't terminated his rights somewhere else in another court, I would encourage it even, just so the child doesn't have that big old void in her life to not even knowing who he is or what he looks like or any of that kind of stuff. But you can always work it on by agreement on, because the order allows you to do that. So,
Okay.
okay, with just this limited amount, and then if things get better and he kind of wisens up and wants to, y'all can work it out.
Yes.
Is that your preference at this time? Okay, then
Yes.
I'll leave it at that. Okay, well, one last thing. There's so many things because I don't know anything about the man. Is there any kind of drug issues or alcohol issues or anything like that that we should say something actually in the order that no drugs or alcohol prior to or during the visits? Is that even an issue? And
Not to my knowledge, no.
did you know him well or long or much?
Everything happened pretty quick. It was in the beginning of us like dating and getting to know each other.
But you didn't see anything that made you concerned with drugs or illegal substances or
Correct. Yeah, no, I haven't. He never looked. He kept himself well kept. He had good manners and
okay. Well, if it doesn't need to be in there, I won't put it in there, but I'm just asking.
Mhm.
Okay, I think usually those are all the things I require at a minimum. So Ms. Nichols, you wanna continue?
And just to confirm again, you have any concerns for your well-being or your daughter's well-being if he knows your cell phone number and email address?
No, not at this time.
Okay. So your daughter was born in December 2023, right?
Yes.
All right. Um, was your daughter on your health insurance in the month after she was born in January 2024?
Yes.
How do you have health insurance?
Through my employer.
Were you with the same employer for the whole year of 2024?
No.
When were you with your previous employer?
From January 2024 until the last day of April 2024.
Did you have Soleil on your health insurance for those 4 months?
Yes.
Okay. How much did it cost you for her to be on that insurance?
$360.77.
Okay. Was it 360 for her, or would it surprise you if it, okay, so it's just for her, it was, what, I'm so sorry. Was that bi-weekly or monthly?
It was bi-weekly and it was for the plan that I had with self-independent.
So it was, how much was it? 360?
77.
That was bi-weekly. That's for two people, right? That's for you and her.
Yes.
Okay. So would it surprise you if it monthly just for Soleil, it was $390.83?
It wouldn't surprise me, no.
So about, it was essentially $391.
Yes, ma'am.
How much did it cost for both of you at that old job for a dental insurance?
Um, say $28.38.
That was bi-weekly.
Yes.
So would it surprise you if the dental insurance for Soleil was $30.69?
No, it wouldn't surprise me.
About $30.
Yes.
Would you like reimbursement, retroactive medical reimbursement for $391 and then dental reimbursement for $30?
Yes.
From January 2024 to April 2024, right?
Yes.
So you were no longer working for that company at the end of April.
Correct.
When did you get a new job?
In June 2024.
So for the month of May, was Soleil on any health insurance or dental insurance?
Um, no, just I believe the Medicaid or Medicare.
Okay. Okay. But you got her back on private insurance in June of 2024.
Yes.
How much did that monthly premium cost you?
Um, well, bi-weekly, the premium is $172.70.
That's for both of you.
Yes.
So would it surprise you if Soleil's health insurance monthly cost $187?
No.
And now that was in um June 2024. Has the cost stayed the same up until now, or has it changed at all?
It's still the same.
Okay. Now, what about dental insurance? How much did that cost for both of you biweekly?
$38.81.
Would it surprise you for Soleil if that cost you $42 a month?
No.
Okay. And then, since Soleil was born, have y'all lived together at any point?
Yes, she stays with me. You
Well,
mean
oh my
Soleil
God,
or him?
sorry, that was very confusing. Have you and Mr. Cyrus lived together at any point after her birth?
No.
No, because he's not even seen her.
Correct.
Has he given you any money for Soleil's support?
No.
Was he incarcerated at any point after Soleil was born?
No.
Does he have other children?
Yes.
How many other children does he have?
3.
How many of those children does he pay child support for?
Leave 1.
How many of those children live with him in the same house?
1.
Okay, so that third child, do you know whether he pays child support or that child lives with him?
I just know that he pays child support for the third child. I don't believe that
Okay.
they live in the same house.
Okay, so there's what I'm hearing you say is there's 3 kids, 1 lives with him, 1 he pays child support for, but that third child, you don't know.
Correct.
Okay. Pass a witness.
Okay, where are we? Is there anything that you haven't been asked that you feel like you need to tell me on the record about what we're doing here today? The custody, the visits, the support, the insurance, the back pay, any of that?
No.
No. I haven't obviously heard the math. The state's gonna do it in the way of a closing. So listen carefully and see if what you agree with or agree with all of it. And Ms. Nichols, if you don't have any other witnesses, let you do your closing.
I have no further witnesses.
Okay.
The state rests. All right, so let's talk about money. The current child support, so current medical support. Ms. Lewis testified that her health insurance for Soleil costs $187 a month. Dental insurance costs $42 a month for Soleil. Mr. Cyrus should reimburse her for that monthly health and dental premium. That gives him a credit of $229 a month. So, and what I did for my child support calculation is I give him credit for 2 other children, not 3. Because we know 1 child lives with him. We know he has a support obligation for another. But I looked in our system, and Ms. Lewis testified that as far as in our system, I don't see a support obligation for the third child, and she doesn't know whether that child even lives with him or whether he pays child support for that kid. So I have, for my child support calculation, I have given him credit for 2 other children.
Then let me go back and ask, let me clarify for me, Ms. Lewis, how do you know he has 3 other children? Have you met them and has he acknowledged them to you or what?
He acknowledged, yes, he has acknowledged all of them, all 3 of them.
And tell me what their ages are. So which one, the one in the household, the one he pays child support for, just their ages.
So the one that lives with him, she could be 6 right now. And then he has the oldest daughter that could range anywhere between uh maybe 11 years old. And then before my daughter was born, he said that there was another one that was born that came out of nowhere.
So she might be a little over, what, 2 or something, young still, but
Uh
born before Soleil.
yes.
So which one's the one that he pays child support for? The 11-year-old?
The one that was born before Soleil.
That's the baby that was born before
The
Soleil.
baby.
He pays child support. Yeah.
Okay, so the oldest one that's 11, during your relationship with him, do you know that he saw her? Did he call her? Did he talk to her?
Yes, yes. So yeah, he was active in both of those his two daughters I did know about when I met him.
Okay, but you never, the baby you didn't meet, or that you said came
Correct.
out of the blue, but you're aware that he told you about her.
Yes.
So is it possible that he just has some maybe informal agreement with the mother of the 11-year-old and maybe he's helping her out, even if it's not official with a court order?
That I don't know.
Okay, but
Possibly visitation with the 11-year-old for sure.
okay, he's involved. Because well, if he's involved, they usually do a little more than that or provide something on the side or whatever, even if there's not a court order, or the mom didn't want anything and just, whatever. But we don't know that, do we? If he's obligated or not, some informally. Okay, not officially. Then because he can be sued at any time and he can be sued for retroactive support, so it's not just future. And if he's acknowledged the child, I consider it his child, especially if he's acknowledged her to Miss Lewis. She wouldn't be telling me about it otherwise. So I would get credit for that, Miss Nichols.
Okay. So that would make his current child support obligation $876.
But let me ask you real quick, did your company prior or current not have charts that where they tell you how much it is for the employee and then employee plus child, so it's divided, maybe not strictly in half, but there's no charts you've seen that would tell us more about how much is actually costing for the child other than just splitting it in two? Ms. Lewis, do you have any
No,
knowledge of any summary sheets anywhere? No?
no.
But you just know they pay for you and your cost is included in the total, correct?
Yes, in the self plus one.
And that's for medical and dental, both.
Yes.
Okay. So, okay, I think I kept up with you for the most part up until you got to the 3881 bi-weekly for dental. And that was for both of them. Did you split that one in half, Ms. Nichols?
Yes.
8.81 times 26 pay periods. Hold on. Divided by 12 and then divided by 2. So there's 3. Yeah, now I caught up with you. Okay, so for current child support, then you're saying with credit for 3 other children, giving credit for the 187 medical and 42 dental, it's 876. What's the percent you used?
Let me see really quickly.
For one child before the court and gets 3 other children.
Yeah. Right. I've got a percentage for you right here. Well, one child before the court and then 3 outside of it is 14.75.
Okay. And then, okay, that's for current. Did you have a start in mind?
Oh yeah, May 1. May 1.
And for everything, okay. So 187 for the medical and 42 for the dental.
Correct.
Okay, now where are we on? I guess let's continue with the math on retroactive you're asking for.
Yes. So I just need to do a recalculation. But so for retroactive medical support, because the child from Ms. Lewis testified, the child will honor private health and dental from January 2024 to April 20 to I'm sorry,
April 30th of 2024.
yeah. I'm so sorry. Yes, you're right. January 2024 to April 2024. So that's that is
4 more.
January. Okay, so that's 4 months. She testified that it cost her at the time, it was $391 just for Soleil. So 391 times 4 months, that's 1,564. Okay. And then we also need to calculate the health for the time that Soleil was on the private health and dental for this job Ms. Lewis currently has, and that was June through April 2025. Okay, so that's 187, and I calculate that to be 11 months. Yeah, 11 months. So 187 times 11 is 2,057. Adding the all those premiums together for retro support, I get $3,621
That's for medical only.
for medical.
Okay.
Now for dental. For 4 months, the child's dental insurance costs $30. So that's $120. And then for 11 months, the child's for 11 months, the child's dental insurance was $42. So that's $462. So $462 plus 120 is $582 for the dental retro. Now the child support retro. Now I calculated the child support giving him credit for the medical premium since we are ordering retroactive medical. So what I get, right? So for the time period where the child was on the private health and dental for Ms. Lewis's old job, the health and dental premium together was $421. I'm calculating. Yes, $421. So when I calculated his child support for the purposes of retro child support, I considered that in giving him credit. Because for the retro, he's technically being ordered to pay it. So that obligation is $848. Okay. Yes, $848, and I have given him credit for the other 3 children too. Then there was 1 month, that was May 2024, when the child was not on health or dental insurance at all. So I did not give him any credit because he's not being ordered to pay retro medical and dental for that time for May. Am I confusing you, Judge?
No, it's gotten into so much detail. It's it's just making me laugh just because so detailed.
Yeah.
I just want Ms. Lewis to know that everything that the state's asking for is what they're asking for is the maximum under the law, but it doesn't say it's concrete under the law. It's discretionary, not mandatory. So I can consider all this to the penny and either agree with it or not agree with it or whatever. I haven't decided, but she's still spouting numbers just so that you know, just because you're asking for it, I might consider what other hardships that might be. And I know he's not here to tell me anything, and he should be here, but he also has 3 other children that he's trying to provide for. So just so you heard from me that yes, you can ask for it, but you don't know what I'm going to do, and I don't know what I'm going to do till I've finished hearing the whole case, okay, and hear your side of it. Yeah, okay, and this is something that isn't normally presented, not retro medical or dental. We usually just go for the child support, or the state usually goes for the child support. Okay, but this is private insurance and not state money. That's the big difference. Okay. So you want to go figure out what it was without the credits for the 1 month? Go ahead. That's what I was laughing at, Ms. Nichols.
That's not, it's $910.
Okay.
And then for the 11 months, so from June 2024 to May through April 2025, it's 11 months at $876 a month. So everything that I get when I add that up,
Wait, tell me the first 4 months were 848 a month times 4? You didn't give me the totals, or did you give me?
let me give you that right now. 848 times 4, that's 3,392. The month of May, it's just 910.
Month of May, 910.
And then the 11 months, it's $876 monthly times 11. And that is $9,636. So if I add all that up, I get $13,938.
For strictly child support, 3,621 for retroactive medical support and 582 for retroactive dental support. So the whole burden for the back pay total is how much are you asking for?
Okay, so I'm asking for 120 for the back pay child support.
120 back. Oh, you're at, that's not what I was asking. Just if,
Okay.
for my information, and so Ms. Lewis knows too, the back pay total between the 3 categories of child support, medical, and dental, what it would be his total obligation if I were to grant it. 13,938 plus 3621 plus 582.
We can do
$18,141 total.
okay, yeah, let me add those numbers up. I was doing it all separate.
I know you were doing something else. I want to know, first of all, how much the burden is on back pay.
I'm getting 18,141.
That's what I got. Okay. So now you want to ask, you want to go for what payments, what kind of payments?
So 120 a month for the child support arrear or the child support retro. 30 a month for the dental support retro. And then 60 a month for the medical support retro.
The 580, wait, did I get that backwards? 30, 30 for the dental and
30
60.
for dental and 60 for medical.
Okay, okay.
And Judge, did I break down the gross monthly? I think Ms. Tayez broke down the gross monthly resources.
No, but I'd like you to break it down to adjusted net for me, so I can double check your.
To adjusted net for current support.
Yeah, well, let's start with Ms. Day's testimony of $7,775.56 for gross monthly.
Yes.
And then what? You took,
229 for the medical.
no, what I'm getting at is that was the gross, then you took off taxes and social security, and what's the net? And then we get the adjusted net after that.
Okay. So the net after that is $6,168.94.
Okay,
And then adjusted net
which is,
is, yes, with adjusted net is $5,939.94.
and then where did I write that down? The percentage for the credit for 3 other children. Remind me, because I wrote it down. I'm not finding it. Let's see. 14.75%.
Yes, just make sure 1 second. Yes. $18.7.
And that's where you got your,
I'm sorry?
that's where you got your current child support, but
Yes.
which was what? 876.
876.
Okay. What else did you want to tell me about in closing for all the other things? Or unless you're not done with the math? Mother to provide the medical and dental.
I'm done with the math. Yeah, and I mean nothing further, just appropriate orders for everything else.
And it is through a private insurance through her employer.
That's right, Miss Lewis, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you heard all that. Well, some of the things that they didn't talk about because they don't take a position on it, but they present your case, is that the law allows for me to appoint you and the father is joint managing conservators. However, from your testimony, he hasn't taken any interest or is actually rejecting, I guess, rejecting the child and any obligation for the child. But guess what? He should have come to court to argue that because if you're here on under oath telling me that he's the biological father and 30 to 45 days before or after conception of this child, you did not have relations with any other man? Ma'am?
Correct. I'm
Yes.
sorry. Maintenance is trying to come in. Like, can I tell them to go
Yeah,
away really quickly?
Sure.
Okay, my apologies.
No problem. So the law would allow me to appoint joint managing conservators, and he has the right to be consulted on certain things. And so you have that obligation. However, if he's not responding, you get to make the decisions, especially if he's not taking an active role in the child's life. But given that you pretty much don't have any relationship with him right now, y'all don't talk as friends or communicate at all, or what's the deal?
No,
There's just no communication between you all?
no.
Then I'm going to rebut the presumption of joint managing conservator. Mom will have the label of managing conservator. Father has the label of possessory conservator and all the rights and duties that go with that. So there'll be a laundry list in the paperwork about that. You do have the obligation because he is a parent to consult with him. But again, if he's not available and doesn't want to make himself available, you don't worry about it. You make decisions because you have to on a daily basis and on whenever you go to doctors or put her in school or whatever, you get to decide. But if you have any way of communicating with him, you should try to tell him things. Because it is his child after all, and I'm hope for the child's sake that he has a change of heart down the road. But there's no guarantees. So rebut joint managing conservator on the issue of visitation. I heard the request. I will grant it in its entirety. I guess I need to repeat it, or do you have it all in one place, Ms. Nichols?
No, I've got it all. Just clarification. So we're just gonna put them in the McDonald's there and not, because I know we talked about doing the part later, but we're just gonna have McDonald's as the exchange and drop off.
Yeah, that's the last place. You didn't come up with anything better, nicer. Just
No,
just
No.
utilitarian. You can meet there and have a burger there or not, and just leave from there if you want to go somewhere else. But at least you can go inside and be covered if it's cold or wet or whatever. So yeah, McDonald's, she gave you the address for that. They are going to be supervised visits. You get to designate anybody you think that is a competent adult or yourself. If you don't feel like you're in any danger with them, you can be the supervisor. But if there's any kind of discomfort level, you can take somebody with you or send somebody else in your place that hopefully can handle the situation. That's even if he comes across and says he wants it. So if he doesn't give you advance notice, like we talked about, he forfeits the visit. And then I won't repeat all the details, but I will grant what we discussed earlier about supervision and a couple hours of first thing with some with exchanges at McDonald's and 48 hours advance notice to her text, a text to her cell number. Okay, that's custody and visits. Given that there's reported income, reported wages from this, that the state was able to retrieve, then I'd be happy to make these findings that he's got a good job, he's making this kind of income. I'm not gonna repeat all those numbers, however, the state told me what they were, and there'll be findings in the order about his gross monthly, net monthly, adjusted net, and the percentage used in calculating support. So I will order child support of $876 a month, starting May 1st. Medical support of $187 a month, starting May 1st. And dental support of $42 a month, also starting May 1st. Do you have any objections to anything you've heard so far, Ms. Lewis?
No.
Okay. Then on the back pay, well, there's a couple of things. One, you told me that you're not in fear of your safety or your child's safety around him. So there'll be no non-disclosure finding, which means they're going to put both your information and the Mr. Cyrus's information in the order. So you know how to reach each other, including email and phone and those kinds of things, and where you reside. So that's required to be updated if you change any of those, and he's supposed to update you as well if he changes any of those. So there's no non-disclosure finding. I assume the state's gonna ask for court cost in a year's time.
Yes.
Then I'll grant that as well. Be specific, April 24th, 2026, that'll be the due date as billed by the county. And then, the hard part for me is all the numbers on retroactive that result in, what did I say, $18,141. Do you want to tell me anything about any of that, Miss Lewis? Your position?
No, I don't have any additional information or anything else to say.
You know, sometimes you put too much on a person and they'll say, well, the heck with you, I'm not gonna do any of this, or just go the other way. Sometimes, even if you had to pay for it, I mean, I don't know what your situation was. I don't really want to get involved in how you met and why you had a child together and how long you knew each other, didn't know each other, whatever. But I just think a person coming to court one day or not coming to court one day and didn't owe any money and walking out with an $18,000 debt, that would be a big burden just on just about anybody, president, lawyer, and judge included. But I don't think it's fair that he gets away with zero either. That's not fair. You had to struggle and do stuff in the meantime. But again, it's discretionary, and it's I can consider hardship. So do you know anything about his situation, about how he lives, what kind of lifestyle he has, what kind of cars he drives, what kind of value house or apartment he owns, condos, any of that assets that he has that would help me in determining whether 18,000 is a number I should do, whether I should consider something else? You're the only one who
I
knows
do
it.
know that he has a house in Pflugerville. He drives like a white Volvo Suburban. It looked pretty past 2020. Um, those are the only two
You know the
assets.
value of the house, you never looked up the appraisals on public records?
For the house,
Yeah.
1 second.
Did he, I mean, while you did know him, was he spending wads of money on, I don't know, going out to eat or entertainment or anything fancy, or
I
was
just know that he would travel out of the country, um, trips to Colombia, trips to Jamaica. Um, I don't know if he went out to eat every week or anything else like that. I'm trying to find.
well, did he wine and dine you with highfalutin places or not really?
No, not really. Um,
And how long of a relationship was it?
I would say it's about 3 or 4 months.
Did y'all discuss having a child together or not?
Um, he would hint at stuff like he said something about on the lines of don't get mad or don't be surprised or don't get mad if you get pregnant. Um, I don't know. I just thought he would be a good father or at least a present father beforehand.
Were you trying to avoid the pregnancy or not so much?
Um, I was looking at the birth control options, but I didn't make a decision, I guess not
You
fast enough.
did. You did make a decision by passing it up. Okay. And he knew about it?
Yes.
He knew you were not on birth control?
Yes.
And he didn't use any sort of contraception himself? I
No,
mean,
he did.
sort of, okay. And he does have 3 other children. You knew about the children before you got pregnant?
Just two. Just the one that lives with him and the older one.
And the other one came while you were already pregnant, the child was born or was born, or how did that work? I didn't hear.
I didn't know until I was after. I mean, I was pregnant when I found out about the other one already.
Okay. Anything else you might could add to the picture, or are you finding anything on the value of his house?
Yeah, I'm almost at that value. One second. So sorry it's taking so long. Thought it was somewhere. So sorry. Apologies.
No, you're giving me that time to think, thank you. But yeah, I don't have much time left now.
Yeah, I am so sorry. Just need to find it. No. They're saying the estimate is 315,600 value of the house.
315,600.
Say that again?
315,600.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, well, that's not necessarily a mansion, I assume. In this area, prices are sky high for just for the land itself, probably, but okay, and the car you said you don't know, but it's 20 something, 20,000 something Volvo Suburban.
Yes.
And do you know why he was taking trips out of the country?
No, I would say just for pleasure.
So it's not to visit family or friends or work or any of that.
Not that I know of, no.
Okay, and I think I just have the retroactive to resolve at this point. You have everything else, Ms. Nichols?
Yes.
Okay. Your child is only, what, 16 months? Is that what you said?
Yes, ma'am.
And for retroactive, he was charged for 100% of the insurance. Mom didn't have any obligation for any of that.
I'm sorry, what?
For the retroactive insurance request, we charged him for 100% of it, even though mom got the insurance and she would have had no obligation. You'd want him to be 100% liable for the insurance for retroactive. That's what you calculated, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. The other thing that always concerns me is that people don't know is that the law also allows, once there's a retroactive judgment, the law allows for a 6% annual interest. So it's like a credit card or a bank loan. It's going to carry interest. So the longer it takes them to pay, the more you're going to get over time. And so if you start really high, then the interest rates are going to be adding up even quicker. And so I am concerned about that. So again, it's discretionary, non-mandatory. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to grant $10,000 in back child support, $1,800 in back medical support, and $300 in back dental support. And what I did with the medical and dental, since you had the baby too, and it's half your baby, and there was no law, no order involved at the point, I just credited him, I'm gonna let him pay half of those costs. From here on out, you're gonna get pretty much 100% of those costs, but for back pay, I'm gonna do half. That's where I got and then I rounded up or down. So 1,800 for medical, 300 for dental, and 10,000 for child support. You want to keep the rates the same. I don't have a problem with the payouts, Miss Nichols, but just total, it'll be in the range. It'll be, if I did the math right, $12,100.
That sounds right.
That's still a pretty hefty chunk, and it's going to carry the 6% interest immediately, as long as he owes money. And then if it adds up with child support that he's not paying, that's going to double and triple and quadruple. But he might be your retirement income if he doesn't get on board with the program, and the state can bring him to court for not complying. The good part is he has a job, so the income withholding, that's statutory. They'll send it to his paycheck, to his human resources, and they'll take it out of his paycheck. So chances are you'll get the money or most of it. And if he has any sense, he'll stay with the job, since he's got other child support cases as well. Now, the other cases with child support, well, just one, he may be entitled to modification there to consider your child here. And if he has other children, you can always be modified as well. The state usually looks at these things every 3 years. So if you know that he has a higher income for whatever reason or whatever source, you can call them and try to let them know about it and see if they can confirm it. They can bring it quicker than the 3 years, but every 3 years they'll look at it themselves and see if you're entitled to a raise if he's making more money. And sometimes the non-custodial parents come in asking for modification because whatever we set is no longer the case for whatever reason, and it could also go down. It can go up, it can go down, depending on the facts of the case and when you bring it. So I think I've covered all the issues. Did you say you want to leave the 120 for child support, 60 for medical support, and 30 for dental support as monthly payouts, Ms. Nichols? On the
Well, let me see. We can change that. Let's do 100 for the child support. Yeah, and then 60, and then let's 60 for the medical, and then let's do 20 for the dental.
Okay, and all those also start May 1st. You said 100, 60, and 20. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, then that'll be the order of the court. I'm rendering the order. It becomes my order. The Mr. Cyrus is being defaulted today. And that'll be the order of the court. The state's going to draft it. They're going to put it in an email to you coming from the Texas Office of the Attorney General. that comes through, try to open that up as quick as possible, maybe starting this afternoon or after 5, I hope. Today's already Thursday, so Ms. Nichols, you have any idea if you'll be able to get it out today or tomorrow at the latest?
That'll be today.
Today. Wonderful. So if you start checking your emails, open that up, review it, ma'am, and just to see if it's what I ordered. Now, if you disagree with me and you want to appeal me, you have the right to do that. I'll ask the state to put in the de novo appeal rights at the end of it. You have the right to appeal me to a higher court. So it goes fast. You only have 3 days from when you get the signed copy of the order signed by the court. You have 3 business days in which to file an appeal. You have to serve, it has to be in writing. You have to say what you're appealing and why. Then you have to hand a copy to Ms. Nichols and also to the other parent, Mr. Cyrus. And then you have to call and get a court date in the district court that handles your case by calling their court coordinator, get a court date for it to be heard within 30 days of the date you filed the appeal. It goes fast. You gotta know you're gonna do it and do it right away, or you run the risk of missing deadlines. And if you don't call to get a court date, they don't call you. You have to call them. You have to be proactive. It's not their job to get your court date for you. You have to call for it. Okay, that's all I have to tell you. Do you have any other questions or concerns, Ms. Lewis, before I let you go?
No, ma'am, but thank you so much, Judge.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Good luck to you and your child. I wish you the best. So check the emails, hopefully starting in the next few hours. And if you can sign it, I get it quicker. If you can't sign it, you want to take the weekend, I understand that. But if it doesn't come in to the state by next Wednesday, then they'll turn it into me on Thursday without your signature, so I can get it in the file. Okay?
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. You're excused. All you have to do is click the end meeting button.